All right, everybody, welcome to BO Boys for Sunday, March 22nd. F it, it's a raw feed. We're doing it live in studio. I'm Clayton.
Yeah, I'm Pat. Amaze, Clayton, you did it again. You didn't say the F word in the first 30 seconds of the show, so good for you. Clayton, for that, I'm gonna say this. Fist my bump, Clayton. Fist my bump.
That's not what you say.
Fist my bump.
Okay.
Fist my bump. There we go. And that's why you have to watch the show on the BO Boys YouTube network, because if you're only listening, you're only getting half the story. You didn't actually see Clayton fisted my bump.
I'll say this is a watershed moment for the BO Boys, because we have never physically touched each other on air or ever before that moment.
Yes, that is the power of Project Hail Mary and this little guy, Rocky, that he got Clayton to fist my bump on air on YouTube, because we are YouTubers. Hey guys. Huge weekend, Clayton. Let's get to this plow.
Let's do it.
So this is a plow for the box office weekend of Friday, March 20th, right? March 20th, 2026.
Project Hail Mary made $80.5 million in its first weekend of release. Number 2, Hoppers made $18 million, down only 37%. It is at $120.3 million in its 17th day of release. Number 3, Durandar the Revenge made $9.5 million in its opening frame. Its total is $13.5. This is after 4 days of release. Number 4, and I called this, Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, $9 million in its first weekend of release. And number 5, Reminders of Him, made $8 million, down 56%. It's at $33.1 million in its 10th weekend of release. And let's just go down quickly to 8.
Okay.
Undertowed, $3 million, down 68%, 15.2 after 10 days of release. So this is what some of these modern horror movies do. They open okay, and then they plummet, and then you find it on Amazon, and you watch it later.
And you know what?
That's better than it's starting on Amazon or 100%. Starting on Hulu.
100%.
Like, Undertone making what it made is basically just a audio art project, right? And we've seen this before. We saw it with your Skinamarink.
My beloved Skinamarink.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm not. My tone seems like I'm being mean to Undertone, but I'm not.
No. Your tone is the correct tone from Undertone.
Yeah.
Which is some amount of disdain just for what it is.
Yeah.
A audiophile based horror movie. It's about scary MP3s.
It's about podcasters.
It's about podcasters.
Yeah.
But you're giving it the respect that it deserves, because it opened in the movie theaters. It's up to, was it $15 million total box office, which is going to make it so much more of a going concern for years and years to come.
Yeah.
People will watch this on streaming. We're not the Streamo Boys, but because it came out in real theaters, made real box office, it is a movie people are actually going to watch.
Yeah.
For a long, long time. So good for this movie. And it costs like nothing. And
that's the thing,
I think the studio bought it for $6 or $7 million. So it's a hugely successful project about MP3 files. So
do we want to talk about something that's not successful? Really quick.
I mean,
are you ready? Or not? You're not. You're not ready.
Not.
Yeah.
Not. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you have a movie where you're giving your title is giving that kind of choice or not, you gotta open big.
Yes.
Because then you're writing our headlines and our episode titles for us by just putting or not as a choice in your movie title.
Oh yeah.
And then opening to $9 million.
Yeah. So it's Ready or Not 2. Here.
Yeah.
No one came.
No one came.
So it's here, HEAR.
Yeah.
Comma. No one came.
No one came. That is the title of this episode is going to have to be or not : here HEAR, comma, no one came.
Yeah. That's the answer. That's the headline answer to this movie's question.
Yeah.
Don't have your movie title be a question if you're not ready for all possible answers.
Yes.
Or for sure this is a smashing success.
Yes. Like we're going to get to Project Hail Mary. A Hail Mary is a desperation pass that often does not pay off. That is often dropped. So when you title your movie Project Hail Mary, if it were to have bombed, there's the headlines. Hail Mary dropped.
Yeah.
Hail Mary failed play.
I mean, Ready or Not 2 should have been : Project Hail Mary. Because that could easily be dropped.
Yes. So this Ready or Not 2, I mean, we talked about it briefly.
I nailed it. 8 shit at 9.
Yeah. There is just no clamoring for this. And this is a movie that I think is the first one is like pretty well liked. I think we both liked it. Samara Weaving the star, someone we like.
We like Samara Weaving.
But this is and you can make sequels to movies that no one really asked for a sequel if the movie is a big, clear financial hit.
Yeah.
And it's undeniable. Whether you want it or not, we're making Mannequin 2.
We're making Gremlins 2.
We're making Gremlins. You have to make a Gremlins 2. You got to make
You're making Joker 2. That's how you get Foley Ado.
Yes. It had to be made because it made $1 billion. There was always going to be a little lady because 3 Men and a Baby was the biggest hit movie of the year it came out.
Yes.
The biggest hit of the year. You were making a sequel to 3 Men and a Baby, even though no one wanted it. No one needed it.
They want babies. They don't want little ladies necessarily.
Right.
You could, if someone's like, hey, do you want this baby? Yeah, I can do something with this baby. It's new. Yes. I can shape it.
Yes.
I can make it in my image.
Yes.
Do you want this little lady? Oh, it's already a little lady. They're already doing things, getting into things and saying swear words and whatever.
Yeah.
No, I want to start with a baby.
Yes. So you never need a little lady except the baby made a lot of money. So there was always going to be that little lady. Ready or Not, I think, capped out at $28 million total. And I know it was a low budget movie, so it was very profitable. But it wasn't some kind of runaway success where you just had to make a part 2.
Unless you make it 2 years after the first one.
Well, that's the other thing. This should have come out immediately afterwards. Yeah.
Because that's what you do when something like Scream comes out and overperforms and has, you know what I mean? Like, or, Austin Powers 1.
Yes, of course. You get that in theaters. I mean, the video blows up. You get it in theaters 2 years later.
Yeah. So that the wait here was too long.
Yeah. Because when was the first one? Was it pre-pandemic, the first one?
It was definitely pre-pandemic, yes.
That movie was 2019. So
that's a different planet. Like, that's a different planet.
It's a different planet. 2019 is a different planet. Yeah. Yeah, this came out August of 2019. They should have been rolling before Tom Hanks got COVID.
Mm-hmm.
If this movie comes out 2019 and you think, all right, at some point we'll make a sequel, roll camera on this before lockdown.
Yeah.
Or don't ever make it at all.
Exactly.
And I think that's the lesson we learned, 9 million. Once Tom Hanks got COVID, that should have been the end of doing a Ready or Not sequel.
The other thing, and I understand, like, there's been movies that have had sequels where you're like, how can they make a sequel out of that? Evil Dead 2. Mm-hmm. Evil Dead 2 ended up being the greatest, probably one of the greatest movie sequels ever.
Yes.
Right?
It's better than Godfather 2, as a movie and as a sequel, 100%.
Yeah. And so you think, oh, it's probably impossible to make an Evil Dead sequel. This movie, Ready or Not, ended in such a interesting, great little turn.
Mm-hmm.
Show was over. Movie was over. This character's arc was over.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have to create some sort of, oh, but no, actually this and this and this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when things get sweaty.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, and then it's like, let's add a sister. It feels sweaty just in the marketing.
Yeah. Yeah, and if I said it before, if you're going to add a sister and that's your big hook, is the first movie you liked, the second movie we got a sister, the sister's got to be something catchy. And Catherine Newton, actress we like,
Yeah.
she's good in these movies, but she's not a hook.
No.
Having her be the add-on is not a hook. It needed to be a pop singer. Get Chappell Roan to be the sister,
I mean, if Chappell Roan's the sister, she's got to be the lead.
Well, I think that is a reason for doing a sequels. Oh, we don't need a Ready or Not 2. Oh, but wait, we got a sister. Okay, who cares about a sister? The sister is Chappell Roan.
Yeah. Sabrina Carpenter's the sister.
Yes, Sabrina Carpenter's the sister. It needed to be a celebrity in their own right, not just another actress who could have played the lead instead of Samara Weaving, because they're sort of at the same level of just like unknown scream queenie actresses.
And speaking of Catherine Newton needs a Colleen Hoover movie.
Yes.
That's the next, if you think about that, because that is a good move for her.
Yep.
Get her out of the scream. Not that, because horror is making bank. Yeah. You still want a toe in horror.
100%.
Right?
Yep.
But
everyone should have a toe in horror.
But you want to be able to spread.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think spreading is really important for scream queens.
Yes.
Right? And so get into a Colleen Hoover.
Yes. Jamie Lee
Show
Curtis
your spread
early on.
She spread.
Yeah.
And so you need to spread right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And especially after when you hit this sort of dead end with like Abigail, this movie, you got to spread.
Yes.
You just have to.
Yeah. Freaky. It's a lot in a row. Catherine Newton's got it. Lisa Frankenstein.
Lisa Frankenstein.
Yeah.
She's got to spread.
She's got to spread. Yeah. Colleen Hoover allows these actresses to spread.
Yeah.
Micah Monroe was someone who horror, and now she's out there spreading because of Colleen Hoover movies. You got to have your toe in two big genres.
Yes.
And right now, Catherine Newton is not spreading. She's only doing one genre. Samara Weaving, an actress that we like.
Yeah. She's good in things that are bad.
She's good. But
at some point, you need to be good in things that are good.
Yes. Or even bad in things that
are good. Yes.
You know, or
like Jessie Buckley in The Bride.
100%. Or Jessie Buckley in Hamnet. You know?
Yeah, you didn't like that performance.
I didn't like that performance, but she won an Oscar for it, so that's good.
She's someone we like who is bad in good things.
Yes.
Like Hamnet.
Yes. Which is much better than being good in bad things like Men.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't help you, but at some point you got to be in something that's good and you got to be in something that's a hit. And I think Samara Weaving, you're right. I'm looking at her filmography.
And a lot of them are like Hulu movies, too.
Snake Eyes 2.
Ugh.
I mean, she was in the Bill and Ted Face the Music movie, which was a great movie. It suffered from it. Should have came out in theaters. Should have been a box office hit.
One of the first PVOD titles, really.
Yeah.
Of course, Trolls World Tour being the first PVOD title.
That came out 2020. If that had gotten in before The Wire and came out like summer 2019, probably is a huge hit and sets her on a better path. Yeah, Azrael, she's the cold open kill in Scream
6.
In Scream 6. She's in something called Valet. I don't know what that is.
That's a Hulu movie.
She's in something called 200% Wolf. Borderline, which I think is a Hulu movie. Something called Eeny Meeny. Yeah, this is intervention time for Samara Weaving.
Yeah.
And I get how she has to do this because if you look at her filmography, this is her franchise. You know, The Babysitter, obviously, but those are Netflix movies.
Yeah.
There's a ceiling on that. Yeah, so she's in a tough spot. She's got to spread. And I guess 200% Wolf is an animated movie, so that was definitely an attempt for her to spread because you could spread into animation as well.
Mm-hmm. It's a little trickier.
Yeah, but the animators do like to spread these actresses too.
Yeah.
I mean, you go all the way back to Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And of course, Fritz the Cat.
Yeah, which does... I know.
When are they rebooting Fritz?
I was gonna say
this would be a real litmus test for Gen Z if they could deal with Fritz the Cat.
That would almost be the poster of the movie, is Fritz the Cat just looking at the audience saying, "Can you deal with me?
Can you deal with me?" Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hope we can. I mean, I know we can as Gen Xers.
Well, you're a millennial, so yeah, it might be hard
Gen
for you to
Xers
handle
can.
that. Yeah.
Millennials, I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking when it comes to Fritz the Cat because I'm Gen X. So yeah, she's in a tough spot. The thing is, this movie will probably be profitable. I think it is pretty low budget. The budget I saw was like $20 million. It made $9 million. Theaters are happy to get it. It'll probably drop pretty badly next weekend.
Yeah. It'll do an undertowed for sure, but that's fine. And it's horror, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
Now, can I mention something to you?
Of course.
Elijah Wood's in this movie, and he's a guy who he uses his FU money in a great way.
Yep.
Produces weird, low-budget horror movies.
Yep.
Seems like a good dude, or could be a monster, who knows. But he's good at hiding it.
I would bet, I'm not going to stake my reputation on it, but I'll stake yours. I bet he probably is a good dude because he's been around for so long. We probably would have known by now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bet your reputation that he doesn't have anything sinister going on.
No. I mean, he was terrible on I Love L.A.
He is terrible.
That was a terrible, terrible cameo.
Yes.
But that's an uneven show. We won't get into it. I know it's not TV, it's HBO Max, but still.
Yeah, we're not the Maxi boys.
What I was going to say is one of your faves, Sarah Michelle Gellar, is in this movie. And you had no inkling to go see this.
Well.
Or did you?
I do have some inkling still.
Gellar.
For Gellar. She is, looking at this cast, she is the draw to me of, do I still end up after all this talk going to see this in movie theaters? And she's in the news because they were going to do, and again, we are not the Streamo boys, and we're not the Streamo pilot boys.
No.
But there was a Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot pilot that was made.
Produced by Chloe Zhao.
Oh, directed by. She directed the pilot.
Wow.
For Hulu.
So then Buffy was working at Amazon facilities and sleeping in a camper van.
Yes.
She's all about that van life.
Yes, she loves a van life. And that was shelved. So Sarah Michelle Gellar is in the news because she's saying and I love it, she's saying there was an executive on the show who hated this from the beginning and was mocking it. She's just hanging this executive out to dry. Name names. I'd love if she named names, but I think people have probably figured out who it is. So she's in the news, but that didn't drive people towards Ready or Not to. They didn't read the behind-the-scenes Hollywood Reporter article about the Buffy reboot and then say, oh, let me go see her in Ready or Not 2.
I will say, if anything comes from this movie, other than downstream profit, which probably, right?
Yeah, definitely. It'll play well on Disney+.
This plus when Magic Mike himself, Channing Tatum, was on press tour for Roofman. He also said there's one executive that kept the Men in Black 21 Jump Street crossover movie from happening.
Wow.
I say to all these celebrities with your platform, normalize calling out producers.
Yes.
Because they are fucking bozos.
Yep.
They don't do shit but collect paychecks.
Yep.
And then if they do shut up and something's successful, they get paid.
Yep.
Right?
They're often just squatters who just buy up the rights to something early on and then squat on it for the next 30 years.
Absolutely.
They're basically like the people who
bought website domains.
Yes. Who just buy the domain name of like a college, basketball player so that they'd have his domain name before he becomes famous.
Yeah.
That's what a producer is.
That's what a producer is. All right. Now, celebrity producers are different because they deserve that because, listen, you're in the trenches, you're acting, you're going on all these auditions, and you're not making any money, and you're living in a bad apartment where those producers make fun of your apartment because you're self-taping, and they only do the self-taping now, and it's terrible. It's a terrible thing. Yeah. And then you get to a point where you can just sit on your ass and take a paycheck as a producer for an actor. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
And then if you're Danny DeVito and you're actually like involved, that's great too.
Yeah,
but
if you run Jersey Films, sure, you're a producer.
Yeah, or you're Brad Pitt and Plan B, whatever. Like those, that's great.
Right.
But these other producers, these squatting producers, call them out by name. Where do they live? Where do they go to lunch?
Yes.
Right? Where do their kids go to school?
Where do their kids go to lunch?
Where do their kids go to lunch?
Yeah, what's their kids'
where are
table
their
reserved?
parents
Yep.
in hospice?
Yes.
All of it.
Yes. We want addresses for all of it.
Just
for
a
schools,
notes,
lunches, hospices. Yeah.
And where their parent in hospice goes to lunch.
Yes.
And it's probably in the hospice.
Yeah. But it's like it's like a hospice in the Sunset Tower, So it's
there's a Spago in this producer's parents' hospice, probably
100%.
So don't feel bad about calling out these bozos and what they're doing to kill things.
Yeah, I wish Ready or Not 2, Here I Come revolved around Sarah Michelle Gellar calling out producers in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
If that had been what the movie is about, that Samara Weaving befriends real life Sarah Michelle Gellar and is helping her expose this producer who destroyed the Buffy pilot.
Yeah.
Boom. I'm in. Then the Hollywood Reporter article drops, and that's what the movie is about. Great.
I love it.
I would have been there already.
Yeah.
And I'll probably still end up going there because it's Buffy is in this.
So let's not talk so much about these failures or middling successes.
Let's go to the top.
Let's go to the top because this is very exciting.
Yeah.
This is exciting for so many reasons.
Yep.
And do you want to give some reasons why? Because
we saw this movie.
We did see this movie,
and I've been excited about this movie for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
Because you saw it for free and you were flown to Vegas and all those things, and of course you're excited. It's exciting. I was excited because to shill for a major motion picture.
I was excited because, in a fully unbiased way, I loved this movie when I saw it. Just like David Thompson,
who also saw it for free and early, and loved it.
We both love this movie. We are not Harrys.
Oh well,
This is not a Harry Knowles situation.
Did I call you Harry? No.
I could see it. I've gotten good at seeing what's going on behind the shades.
Mm-hmm.
And behind the shades, I could see already those eyes were saying Harry, 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 and that's not what this is. I
let you tie the rope and tie it around your net and pull yourself out of your rascal.
Yes, I use the rope to pull myself out of the rascal, though I don't have a rascal because it's not a Harry Knowles situation. So I have been saying for weeks and weeks this was going to be a hit. The tracking was low. This was going to be. I mean, I only said 60. I was tempered in my enthusiasm on the preview episode. I said 60. David Thompson, I think, went 75.
He went high, yeah.
He went 75. This hit 80.
Mm-hmm.
As of Sunday, it's 80.6. When the Monday actuals come in, this could be 81. But
could be 81.
80 million. This is one of the highest openings ever for a non-IP. Obviously, it's based on a book by Andy Weir, but that's in movie world. That's not IP.
No,
it's
not IP the way that
it's not
it's not Tron.
Yes,
it's not Zorro.
Yes, it is not Zorro. It is not a Tron. It is not.
It's not Tarzan.
It's not a Tarzan. It's not a superhero movie.
No.
This is basically 4 movies. This is an original movie. And I think just Oppenheimer at 82 million is the highest for this type of non-sequel, non-IP, just opening weekend for a movie. This is tremendous. This is great for so many reasons. I mean, let's start with just one of the reasons is this is Amazon MGM. So forget the Amazon of it all. Just
toilet paper. Yeah, forget about the toilet paper for a second.
Forget about the toilet paper. Forget about the drones.
Mm-hmm.
Just the idea that we need more movie studios. You got Paramount, Warner Brothers are going to become one big glob, and that's going to be disaster.
Mm-hmm.
You need MGM to be a real put big movies in theaters studio.
Yeah.
And if Project Hail Mary had failed, there is a good chance this would have been the end of it. We talked about the Argyle situation with Apple TV and Apple Movies. Project Hail Mary opens to what you predicted, 40 million.
We'll speak on that. But
this could have been Argyle and MGM is getting out of the theatrical business. Instead, they got a hit.
And also,
big stinking hit.
Not to be negative, but they've got He-Man coming up. That's going to be a gigantic bomb. So they needed this to be huge.
They needed to have that taste in their mouth.
Yeah, because if this fails or does middling, and then they have a big, fat, stinking bomb on their hands with He-Man, then they're thinking this isn't worth it.
Right.
They see the critical acclaim.
Yes.
They see the box office receipts.
Yep.
They see possibly, like you were saying, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I'd be happy with, some awards potential for this popcorn film down the line.
I think it could get in the Best Picture 10 next year.
Then you see, like, listen, F1 being a Best Picture nominee really makes Apple think, okay, maybe we could try this again.
Okay.
And listen, Amazon was out of the game after Late Night.
Yeah.
Mindy Kaling almost destroyed. Mindy Kaling almost made it so that this movie didn't exist.
It took something as big as Project Hail Mary to set right what Mindy Kaling had set wrong years ago with Late Night.
And so, quickly, before we talk about all the good things about this, including Ryan Gosling finally above the title, the reason to see this movie as an actor.
Okay.
This is his big star coming out party.
Okay.
I think. Legitimately.
Let's hear negative Clayton.
No, well, let's speak of the 40 million. And I know we have a certain emailer who has predicted exactly how much this movie is going to make today.
Okay.
Because that's how they roll.
Yes, JS.
JS
is about to send his email
saying
he nailed 80.
I nailed 80.
Yeah.
I made the prediction today
Yep.
at 12 noon.
Yep.
And then he'll make another more accurate prediction Monday morning.
Yeah. But he'll always have known that.
He'll always have known.
I love JS.
Yes. You would. You would. This movie is about overcoming odds. This movie is about succeeding where your back is up against the wall and where you have naysayers.
And everything's on the line.
And this movie would not be as big of a success without the naysayers. I knew that coming in, that this movie would feel more triumphant if you had somebody with the sort of the history of great predictions and being right. I mean, obviously, Ready or Not, ate shit at 9. Yep. I did that while I was floating in space.
Yeah. Last episode, you were floating in space, called in from space at one point.
And right before I left, what did I say?
You were like when those astronauts would call into the U2 concerts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they play drums on Even Better Than the Real Thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and then he'd call the Kremlin, and then Bono, dressed like the devil, Macfisto, I think his name was, would call the Kremlin and be like, "I ordered you 20 pizzas."
Yeah.
And then hang up on Gorbachev.
Was that Zootopia?
That was Zoo TV.
Zoo TV, yeah.
Zoo TV tour.
Yeah, Zootopia surpassed Zoo TV as a success.
Yes, and I'm as a U2 fan, I'm sad about that. Yeah. But still, listen, it's been a long time.
The numbers are the numbers.
The numbers are the numbers. I was one of the things that makes this a triumphant success because I was a naysayer.
Okay.
And so now the fact that this doubled my prediction makes this so successful in a way that it wouldn't be if I would have said, "Oh yeah, it'll make 70."
You needed people doubting Project Hail Mary the way there were people doubting that Ryan Gosling's Ryland Grace character could do what he pulled off in the movie. So
it's 4D chess is what it is.
Clayton, I am glad that you brought up what helped make this movie a hit, because I'm throwing you a curveball, something I've been thinking about since I got on the train on the way to BOHQ this morning.
Whoa.
Today, right now.
This is a fresh theory?
On this show, we are going to divvy up the numbers for the opening weekend of Project Hail Mary.
Divvy up the millions.
We're divvying up the millions. Right now, I could only imagine the cheering that is going on as people listen to, or better yet, watch us on YouTube, because we are YouTubers. Hey guys, there are audience that are saying, are they doing it? They're going to divvy up the millions? They're doing it.
Unplanned divvying.
Unplanned. It's going to happen. And it begins right now.
Whoa. So, and people are saying they won't be able to do it, though. They're also saying they won't be able to do it without any preparation.
This is a Hail Mary right now. Because in the past, we would know we're going to divvy up the millions.
We would have a list of things that we thought would be things that we could give money to.
Right. We would promote it weeks ahead. Everyone know we'd be prepared. There'd be spreadsheets. We'd have our consultants come in and help us with the stats and the figures. And, we'd be up for weeks and weeks preparing. We're doing it on the fly right now. This is our Hail Mary. So this movie opened to $80 million. So we'll use 80 opening weekend.
It's such a nice figure, too.
Such a nice. Forget the 0.6. The 0.6 goes to charity, a charity that I've set up on my own. That's where that money goes.
Okay.
And it's, it's a tax haven.
Yeah.
It's a charity I've set up in the Cayman Islands.
Great.
So that's where the 0.6 goes. So now $80 million opening weekend. So there's some, I'm going to throw out some people or entities that could deserve a portion of this. Ryan Gosling, you mentioned him. He's a star of this. This is his above the title, Are You or Are You Not a Movie Star? So Ryan Gosling, I think the directors, Lord and Miller,
they have a name?
Get a taste. Andy Weir, the author of this book.
This book has sold
millions of copies.
Millions of copies. Millions of copies.
At this moment, that's the cash register at bookstores around the world selling more copies of this movie, of this book.
And quickly, because we're going to do this, but I just want to boots on the ground. I was at a bookstore this weekend.
Okay, great.
And this wasn't a Walden Books. This was not a Borders.
Okay.
This is not a Barnes & Noble. This was a small independent bookstore in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And that's where the hipness is. That's where it's happening. That's where people are reading esoteric novels. They're reading autofiction. They're reading thick Russian translations.
Yeah.
And
books about just the main character eating scrambled eggs for 80 pages.
Exactly. I mean, my bread and butter.
Yeah. Which is another chapter in that book.
All about the bread and butter. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Big table of all those sort of books, right smack dab in the middle, Project Hail Mary. And guess what? I'm there. I'm lurking. Because I lurk.
Yeah.
When I'm in a bookstore, I'm lurking. Young lady with another young lady picks up that book and says, "Oh, this movie just came out this weekend. I told you about this book. It's my favorite book."
That's great.
And this is in Brooklyn, right? Now, this isn't in the middle of nowhere. These are not hillbillies.
Yeah, this is Brooklyn.
These are Brooklynites.
Which is the capital of the capital city of the world.
Yes.
So those two ladies that you were lurking on in a
I was lurking near, I was not lurking on, which is something I don't think you can do. I was lurking at the table, and there happened to be two ladies. It could have been two guys who did this, but it wasn't.
Of course,
because men don't read.
Were they dressed like the bride?
Well, of course not.
Because then that's how you would have started this story. The episode would have started with, I was at a bookstore, and they were dressed like the bride.
And I don't know what the hell book they were talking about, because they're dressed like the bride, and all I could hear was Dreamweaver.
Yeah. So they weren't dressed as the bride, but they were loving this Project Hail Mary book. So Andy Weir is definitely getting a taste of this. We'll see how big. Rocky. I think Rocky.
The tennis ball.
The alien that was a puppet on set. It was a practical effect. It was not a tennis ball.
I really need verification for that.
So Rocky's got to get a taste. We're going to see how big Rocky gets. I would say that, what were some other aspects of this?
Space
has got to get a taste.
Football metaphors.
Space has got to get a taste. Here's someone else who I think we've got to talk about getting a taste. Harry Styles. I think Harry Styles got that song. That song.
I really wish they would have chosen a better song.
But I do think we'll talk about that. So let's. Where do you want to start? Where do you want to start?
I think we need to start at the top.
Okay.
And really, give some big bucks to some people.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's start with Ryan Gosling.
Okay.
Someone who I was, and I said this after we saw this movie, which I did not like as much as you did.
Yes.
Because I wasn't paid to like it. And I'm saying that's
paid.
A shorthand for everybody knows the context. When I say you were paid to like it, there's nuance there, but you were paid to like this movie.
It's not a payola situation, is not a Harry Knowles situation, nor a payola situation.
Okay.
Am I getting a box of candy of my choice? Who knows? Who cares?
Of course you were. Of course you
love this of my own accord.
So, but I, somebody who was not paid to love this movie, there are elements that even somebody who paid with their own hard-earned money cannot deny. And one of those elements is Ryan Gosling being able to pull off humor, pathos, physicality, talking to a tennis ball. I mean, he was...
Rocky's not a tennis ball. Rocky was a puppet.
Well, he's a tennis ball. For all intents and purposes, this is good. I'm giving him a compliment.
Okay.
The fact that Ryan Gosling cried real tears and you felt invested in a relationship that he had with effectively a tennis ball shows that this is an actor that is capable of it all.
Yeah.
In a way that Fall Guy, he was coming off a little bit like Dime Store Ryan Reynolds, right? The Emily Blunt, they don't have chemistry. I'm sorry.
They don't. No, it's not like Emily Blunt and The Rock, who have real chemistry. Yeah.
I mean, again, Gosling has more chemistry with a tennis ball than he did with Emily Blunt. And I'm not saying Emily Blunt is a tennis ball. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that.
But effectively, you're saying she's a tennis ball.
No, I'm just saying that people have different chemistry with different things, because obviously Emily Blunt and The Rock have explosive chemistry.
Yes.
Right? We all know that from Jungle Cruise.
Yes.
That it was palpable.
Yes.
And so that is one of those things where I feel like, yes, he was great as Ken, but that wasn't his movie. He made it his movie. But that wasn't his movie.
I mean, the thing with
it's not called Ken. It was called Barbie.
It's not called Ken, but the hoodies they were selling had Ken on it. But we don't have to relitigate. Go into the archives, because we divvied up the millions for Barbenheimer. So that's where we have that discussion. So for this movie, I mean, listen, I agree. He's great in this. And in terms of dollars, could you imagine the difference? Everything else is the same. Same book, same puppet, Rocky, space, but it's Chris Pratt instead of Ryan Gosling.
I mean, my $40 million prediction would look foolish. It'd be too high.
Yeah, and there's a world.
And number one, if it's an Amazon MGM movie and it's if Amazon's anywhere near this movie and Chris Pratt is in it, it is going to.
Well, you can't really say that, because Mercy came out in January. Mercy.
What is this movie that you're speaking of?
It is a film called Mercy that we talked about on this show for several episodes, and came out in theaters from Amazon MGM.
I'm scratching my head because I just have no memory of this.
It is real. It is effectively real. So there is a world in which Chris Pratt is the lead of this movie, and it gets everything else. Same release, same publicity, but it is just because it is Chris Pratt instead of Ryan Gosling. You're half the opening weekend for sure.
I mean,
if not more.
We could list off so many of the Chris Hemsworth.
Yep.
Opens this movie. It's
25.
25. Oh, lucky to get 25.
I think it gets to 25. We'll get to the other aspects because it's a huge book, so I think that is a thing. Gosling, his sort of above the average actor of his stature, what he brings to this, because he's good in the movie in a way that these other Chris's would not have been nearly as good. He's great on the promotional trail. You know, Chris Pratt would have been out there building crosses, talking about how great AI is. That probably wouldn't have played as well as Gosling doing all the fun things he did.
Well, he would have been like,
the movie.
I tried to cast an AI actor for the Sandra Hüller part.
Yes.
Is what Pratt's byline would have been.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, and Sandra Hüller's another one. We'll get to her in this.
Okay. Very niche.
But, you know.
But great.
Niche, there's an
She's not a reason people saw the movie, but she's a reason people would see the movie again.
Okay. So, well, we'll get to her because...
But we can't add that in because we're talking about opening weekend dollars.
Ryan Gosling is definitely cementing himself as a movie star if you put him in something that people are going to be excited about, not here's a movie version of a TV show that people haven't given a shit about in 45 years, which is The Fall Guy, which was kind of a show that no one ever cared about even then. It was a middling hit. It would be making a movie version of Wings 40 years later. I know The Fall Guy was an hour-long show, but there's 8 o'clock shows, 9 o'clock shows, and then there's 8:30 shows, 9:30
Absolutely.
shows. And The Fall Guy was a 8:30 show.
It's the difference between Friends and Caroline in the City.
Yes. Yeah. So...
And Seinfeld and Veronica's Closet.
So
and we're not the TV boys, huh?
We're not the TV boys, huh? Ryan Gosling, if you put him in something that the audience already is going to be on the side of, he's going to raise the value of that. I mean, The Fall Guy, in the end, I would say he raised the value of that, even though it didn't do that great. In the end, The Fall Guy shouldn't have made jack squat.
Yes, that's true.
So, $80 million opening weekend. Here's the thing. Does he get his paycheck? Does he get his $20 million quote? Like, I think that is where we're saying that he's opening this movie above other actors of his level. Obviously, if this is Leo in that, it probably opens to $100 million, you know, but like...
Does it, though? Because this is not a Leo... Leo can do anything, but this is light for Leo. I would not see Leo doing this at this point in his career.
You know...
He wouldn't take this light of a movie. He's not talking to a tennis ball. I'm sorry. He's not.
I mean, you listen, the movie he just won Best Picture with, most of his screen time is spent trying to find a charger for his phone. And he's great at it, and it's hilarious, and it's filled with pathos, and it really gets you. It's about his relationship with his daughter, but it is about him trying to find a charger for his phone.
Pat, he's not fisting anyone's bump. He sees that in a script and he's throwing it across the room.
I think Leo
his people see that in a script and they say, Leo would never do this movie. He's not talking to a tennis ball and he's not.
It's not a tennis ball, though. It's a puppet. Leo would understand it in a way that you're clearly not.
His people would say, listen, effectively, you're talking to a tennis ball.
I think his people would say, actually, though, it is a puppet that's on set that allows you to act directly with a real object. The puppeteer is the voice of, but we'll get to
And he'd say, you had me at fist my bump. I'm out.
So there's that level of like a bigger star than Ryan Gosling. But in terms of all the other actors who are floating around that level, he's broken out of the pack with this opening weekend. So I'm going to say 20.
But do you think that, but shouldn't he earn more than his pay because of, like, doesn't he get a bonus because this did so well?
Are we giving him 30?
I'd give him 30.
Okay. So
I'd be up to giving him 30.
Okay. So Gosling's at 30. Next up, let's go with Andy Weir / the book itself.
I think you have to. This thing is everywhere. I mean, it's an airport. It's a grocery store book. Like we've talked about this.
Yep.
Housemaid is a grocery store book.
Yep. Colleen Hoover books are
They're grocery store books. This is a grocery.
Jack Reacher, the Greatly Child, of course.
The Greatly Child.
Yeah. And gas stations.
Yes.
And airports, of course.
Everywhere. Anywhere that somebody might want a book.
Yeah.
This book is there.
Yes. And places where they do not want a book.
Yeah.
These books are there. And then people say, I don't like books, but I like that book.
I like that book. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the kind of book this is.
Yeah.
This is an anti-book person's book.
Yeah.
And that's good. And so I do think the book should get, I wish we knew how many copies this book has sold, but it should get, I mean, I'm willing to go up to $10 million for this. What do you think?
See, this is the...
Do you think more?
this is why I was pushing a little lower on Ryan, because...
Give them 20.
I think Andy Weir / the book itself should get the most amount of money for this.
Whoa. So okay, so we're blowing through this fast.
Well,
35?
I don't know if Gosling is 30. That's why I said 20 at first.
How about 25?
25
for Gosling.
Okay.
He gets his 20 million.
Yep.
Plus 5 million bonus.
Bonus pay, yeah. And then I think 26 for Andy Weir.
Just a little bit more.
A little bit more than the star of the movie.
It's going to make the math hard for you.
Right now I'm good because we're at 51, 25 and 26.
I'll trust you on that.
I'm holding that.
I'll trust you on that.
So I think those are the big two.
Yes.
Space. Because space
can go either way.
But when space is poppy, as opposed when there's thinky space, when you're Ad Astra space, when you're high life space, when it's space where it's
Solaris
space. That's the kind of space that critics like that space. Audiences don't like that space.
No.
They don't want to think about what is God, who is God, the existence of, where did man start. They just want to think, how do I get out of space and get back home? And poppy space has worked a lot in the last 10 years.
I mean,
The Martian. Andy Weir. The one with Sandra Bullock is Gravity. I feel like Interstellar toes the line. That's like thinky space that worked, but it's poppier than a Solaris.
Yeah, Solaris.
So space, if you use it in the right way, it works. It's better than the ocean.
Well, okay, that's a personal attack, but that's fine. Because I like the ocean better, but I know I'm in the minority.
Yeah, in the box office sense, pop space works better than pop ocean. A perfect storm. I mean, yeah.
And then just thinking about, I know Star Wars has had a hard time at the box office recently, but you cannot deny that those movies are successful. Also, the Star Trek movies are in space.
Yeah.
So space, I think, is a very strong IP when done well and done, like you said, poppy.
Yep.
So I would say, gosh, this has to have a big number behind it too.
Yeah, I mean, do we go double digits? Does space get 10?
I would even go higher than that.
I would say let's get space 10 right now.
Okay.
Because we do have some other. So it's Andy Weir's 26, Gosling's 25, space is 10. So we're already at 61 million out of our 80, which I think is good because now we're probably jumping down a little bit. The directors, Lord and Miller.
Here's the thing. This is a big one because we have to make sure that we are sticking to why did the general public see this movie, not why internet dwellers saw this movie, which I think they are more popular as names on the internet than they are in reality. In reality, does your Susie Crusader, Joe Lunchpail know that they did the Spidey cartoons?
The Spideyverse movies, Lego Batman.
Yeah.
21 Jump Street.
Do they know that they did? I mean, these are all hit. Meet the Millers, was that them? Or We're the Millers?
Were they We're the Millers? I don't know if they're We're the Millers.
Did they? Maybe I'm just thinking that because it's Lord and Miller.
Great. Yeah, I don't think that We're the Millers was based on one of their real life childhoods.
Okay.
I don't think so. But here's where I would say, though, they deserve it. It's not because they're Scorsese or Spielberg or Nolan or Jordan Peele where people see the name and say, I'm seeing it because of them.
Or Zach Krager now.
or Zach Cregger now, especially after the Oscars cold open. I think the reason that they need to get paid is Project Hail Mary is a movie that had to be good to work. A big reason why this movie opened so well is because the reviews were through the roof. The audience reactions were through the roof. They were previewing this movie for weeks and weeks, and everyone was loving it. If this
months and months.
Months and months. If this is a bad movie, even despite everyone loving the book and people liking Gosling, this is not a movie that could plow through being bad like an Avengers movie and still open because it was always going to open.
What you're saying is that these two are not the Pizza Bros.
These are not, the version of this made by the Pizza Bros is terrible, and because it's terrible, does not open.
Yeah.
This is not a inevitable hit.
No.
It's a movie that had to be liked to be a hit. And I think a big reason why it works is because they are really good.
Yeah. And they had nothing to do with We're the Millers. That was Rowson, Marshall Thurber, and then Sean Anders, John Morris, that whole crew. Yes.
Big ups to them.
Big ups to them.
Rowson, Thurber, Marshall.
Yeah. I agree that I made a joke glibly about the number of previews here. And there was a lot of question as, was that a good idea? Even the great David Thompson threw that out. Are people thinking that this is oversaturating because all people have been talking about for the past couple weeks is, I saw this movie, I loved it. I saw this movie, I loved it. I saw this movie. People like yourselves who are getting paid to say these things.
Not getting paid.
And a lot of times that can backfire because then people see the movie and say, they're all shills. Now, at this point, you are a shill, but you are correct because people do love this movie and this is a good movie to the general public. And I think those previews built up positive momentum that then paid off on the opening weekend. And now there's no question, right? I know you're a shill, but people aren't looking at you as a shill because what you said is correct and true to most people.
Yes.
So your credibility is intact still when I know there's a chance that it wouldn't be.
But
that was your Hail Mary.
Yeah. So they did right by me and David Thompson. Because we come out of this smelling like a rose because we said this was great. And whether we said it was great because we got to see it for free and got a box of candy, now it doesn't matter because it actually was great.
And the general public, they don't see Harry Knowles. But I'm like, as in They Live, when I look at you, I see guy, curly hair, beard, rascal.
Right. So that's what your shades have always allowed you to do, is you could see who is Harry Knowles and who's a human.
Absolutely.
Right.
And listen, do I want that power? No, because David Thompson, listen, my mom loves David Thompson. She's like, this boy, he showed up at the door to take my daughter out, and I know he's married. She's like, I'm happy for my daughter. That's what my mom says about David Thompson. I want to be able to see David Thompson the way my mom sees David Thompson. But for a while there, before this movie came out, I'm seeing a Harry Knowles.
Because you're looking through the shades.
Because I'm looking through the shades.
Allow you to differentiate who's a human and who's a Harry Knowles.
And who's a Harry Knowles. Yeah. And that made me really sad. But listen, it's my burden.
Yeah.
We all have our cross to bear.
But now no one will know because this movie was great. So Lord and Miller, do they get as much as space? Or do they get less than
Space is so big.
Space is vast.
And it's such a big IP.
Do they get half of space?
Let's give them half of
10,
space.
So they get 5. So here's a big one that I think we're going to have to redo some of this math because Rocky. Now, Rocky is the co-star of this movie.
How much is 3 tennis balls at Dick's Sporting Goods?
It was a puppet. It was an on-set puppet. The puppeteer did the voice. You don't have a puppeteer for a tennis ball.
Yeah, you do.
You don't have someone. You have a fisherman at best who's got the tennis ball. On the
that's
end
a tennis ball
line.
puppeteer. He's got a fishing line.
So this character, whether it is puppet, whether it's tennis ball, this character.
Right. So you admit it's
this character is the co-star of the movie. And in the lead up, from people who have read and loved this book, the big thing you kept hearing is they got to get Rocky right. Rocky is this quippy, sweet, lovable alien. And when you look at why this is opening so big, they gave it away in the trailer. And that was a big sort of, I've been following the press tour, a lot of debate about that from the creatives. Are we going to show Rocky? They said, we got to show Rocky. And it paid off. Because you can't say people didn't come see this because of Rocky, because Rocky was in those trailers. They told you will get to see an alien who's a sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
So as I look at what we've done, I think that Rocky should be number 3.
I completely disagree.
People, you didn't love this movie, which is fair. It is your right.
There are things that I really liked about it. I like the Earthbound parts.
But we got to take ourselves outside of it. And we're looking at the audience. The audience loved Rocky. This movie works because you got 2 characters that the audience loves and we're looking forward to. So I think Rocky's got to make not as much as Gosling. Gosling's been in big hits before. Rocky the Alien has never been in a movie before, but he's been in this book. So I kind of am suggesting Rocky gets more than space. And we take a couple of million out of Andy and Ryan's kitty and give some of it to Rocky. I think Rocky's got to make like 12.
No way. No effing way.
You got to take your bias.
No.
You're not.
The general public did not go. I'm talking, Pat, we're talking general public.
Me too. I'm talking
general public did not say, you know what I want to see the most in this movie starring Ken from Barbie and a guy who was in La La Land and a guy who was Butthead?
He was Butthead in the Butthead sketches.
No, he was Beavis.
Okay.
Was he Beavis? I don't know.
How much are you giving Mikey Day for this?
For staying away from this project?
$1 million. $1
million to stay away.
Yeah.
No show contract.
Yeah.
Mikey Day, no show contract, $1 million.
Yeah.
Just sit and read the paper.
I'll give Mikey Day $500,000 for staying away because we know he's become friends with Gosling. He had nothing to do with this, which it was a big reason why it worked. So I'm giving Mikey Day $500,000 for staying away.
Yes, please do.
Okay, so Mikey Day gets $500,000 for staying far, far away from this movie. He didn't show up as an astronaut. There is one astronaut I want to give some money to, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Okay. I think that if you're a general public member, this is the opening weekend. You've not seen this movie.
But you've seen the commercial. You've seen the trailer. Rocky's in it.
But we can't assume that they've read this book. You're assuming they've read this book.
I'm assuming that a lot of people have read this book because, like we said, this is a book that is at airports and gas stations and it's everywhere. So people, workaday folks, have read this book. Have they read the books you like to read about just a man eating scrambled eggs for 150 pages?
He also prepares the scrambled eggs and he smokes cigarettes and drinks black coffee.
They haven't read that book, but they've
other
read
elements.
Project Hail Mary. They like Rocky. There was anticipation for Rocky, and kids love Rocky. People love Rocky. There's a PG-13 movie.
I think Rocky's a reason why people might come back. He's not a reason why people went. I cannot, in good conscience, sit here and allow you to give a tennis ball $12 million when you can buy at Walmart a 2-pack of 3 tennis balls. So that would be 6, correct? You're the math guy, so that was hard for me.
I'm not writing that.
$8.44. I'm willing to give Rocky
$8 million.
Round it up, $10. $10. That's 6 Rockies.
I walk off the set if Rocky doesn't get at least as much as space.
That's insane. Space is one of
now, there's
biggest
Star
Wars
commenting right under this video. They're saying, Clayton, get your head out of your ass.
No one's
Give
saying
Rocky
that.
what he deserves. Give Rocky what he is the co-star.
No,
of
they're
this
saying
movie.
give Pat what he deserves, which is a smack in the mouth. Honestly,
So we're doing BOKO boxing right now. It starts now.
It starts now.
Wow.
We went from never touching each other to
fist my bum,
and then
to fist my face.
Yeah, and fist my face.
Yeah.
I cannot give him anywhere close to Space. Space is such a huge IP.
You're gonna have to.
Pat,
he is the co-star of this movie.
Do not be.
He is the co-star of this movie. This is an anticipated.
You're sniffing AstroTurf if you think that this character, this tennis ball,
a lovable alien. This is a all-quadrant play. This movie. This was not an R-rated.
Pat, Rocky's
sex
not
and
E.T.
space movie.
He's not
the
E.T.
modern day E.T.
No, he's not.
He's the modern day E.T.
No.
He's the E.T. for a new generation.
This movie is called Project Hail Mary. It's not called Rocky.
But the trailer showed Rocky. They had that choice of, do we reveal him or not? And they said, we got to, because people are going to want to know about Rocky when they decide to go see this movie.
I will. Just for, listen, being the bigger person, which I am. I am the bigger person.
I am significantly taller.
You're
than you.
tall. See, that's how you think. You're in the material realm.
Materialist with the leg extension.
I'm in touch with the divine. I can understand that this negative energy is not good for me, so I will compromise, something you are not willing to do.
We'll see.
Okay.
I mean, this number is not automatically accepted.
But it's better than the $10 I was offering for
let's see what
6 tennis balls.
Let's see what your offer is here for Rocky.
$5 million for Rocky.
Not enough. Not enough for Rocky. It is not enough. This is.
Then we have to up Space.
No, we're not upping Space. We're not upping Space. I do think
Star Wars, Star Trek.
If we're starting $5 million, how's
Gravity,
this?
$5 million.
$5 million. It's $7 million. Let's take $1 million from Andy. I'm sure
he'd be willing to.
He'd say, Rocky is my creation. I love him because he's brought me so much money.
Yes.
So he would give $1 million. And I think Ryan would give $1 million to his co-star, to his scene partner.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to bring Andy Weir now goes down to 25, and Ryan Gosling goes down to 24.
And then what was Space?
Space is 10, and Rocky is 7. So your precious Space, which you even hate.
I hate Space. I fucking hate it. It's so boring.
$3 million more than Rocky.
We talked about this after the movie that if they forced me to go to space, it wouldn't be because I was afraid to die in the vacuum or that I wouldn't come back from the mission. It's because I'd be so bored.
Yeah. Don't send me. I'd be too bored.
I'd be so bored.
So I think this is a solid compromise. It's way lower than what I would have given Rocky if this was just my show, which someday it'll be, but it's not yet. So Andy, we're 25, Gosling 24, Rocky 7, Space 10. So we're at 49, 56, 66, and then Lord and Miller are at $5 million. So that's $71 million. And of course, Mikey Day gets him $500,000. So you're
giving Rocky $2 million more than the directors of this film.
Yes, Rocky is more important than the directors of this movie, who are getting paid. They're getting paid $5 million. They're doing great.
Now here's something. Speaking of, because let's go with the theory, the conspiracy theory, that Rocky is not a tennis ball and is an actual puppet.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to go to that realm.
Okay.
Because it's fun sometimes to think about these things.
He is a puppet, though.
I really would like proof, but I do not trust photographs, and I do not trust anything written on the internet. So it'll be very hard to verify that for me.
Yes.
Otherwise, practical sets.
Okay.
I would like to give money to the craftsmen.
Oh, wow.
Who created these practical sets instead of the Yugoslavian warehouse where the pizza bros are paying people to inhale asbestos and dress like Ant-Man and run around in front of a giant green screen. I think the artisans who crafted these
spaceships,
these
planets. Everything was real.
Everything
was a real place.
Where they were then able to have Gosling interact with this
puppet.
Mm-hmm. I think they deserve a good amount of money too. I think they should get at least $3 million.
Oh, wow. I was going to say give them as much as Mikey Day got to stay away from the project.
No, I think...
How about $2.5 million?
2.5 is great.
Okay, so the artists...
They would be happy that Mikey Day stays away from the sets because they would have to share the Wi-Fi with him, and you just don't know.
You don't know what's going to be on that hard drive.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the artisans get $2.5 million, so now we're up to $74 million, so we've got $7 million to play with. Harry Styles. This song...
You mean the most boring man in existence?
I mean, listen, I think you're going to get a lot of wannabe old boys, wannabe old girls, wannabe old people who are going to take offense in the comments, which is great for the algorithm, great for monetizing. So go at it. But Clayton is attacking Harry Styles right now.
Of course.
Who's going to be a New York figure for the next 6 months because he's playing Madison Square Garden, 30 dates, coming to our town. I mean...
Yeah, he's coming to our town. You're right.
He would admit as much.
Yeah.
He's coming to our town. He's someone who, listen, he's going to be here for months and months. I would have said Harry Styles, while in between MSG dates, come on the B.O. Boys. Summer movie season.
Oh, I'd say it to his face.
That most boring person
alive. Yeah.
But he has all different kinds of outfits.
Oh, he's got so many tattoos.
You didn't like his SNL a couple of week ago?
Terrible SNL.
I
mean, the only saving grace was the Jane Wick line drive-through sketch.
Great. I mean, she's...
And what is the other young lady's name? The new... I should know this new Abbott and Costello.
Veronica something. I can't
Veronica. I want to know your last name.
Solowski or something, yeah.
The two of them with that Cousin Planet.
Yep.
Then Car Handles.
Yep.
Now the drive-through sketch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is like a comedy duo that we haven't seen since... God, what was the last great comedy duo on SNL?
The last great, I mean, Farley and Spade. They might be the new Farley and Spade.
Listen, give them a movie right now.
Yeah.
Start working on that movie, Tommy Girls. I love it.
Yeah.
So anyway,
You didn't like that episode.
I didn't like the episode. He's a bad SNL. He's a bad actor and he's a bad SNL host.
But there is... You look at that 2-week stretch of SNL. Gosling hosted, and Harry Styles was on it, and they talked about how the song is a centerpiece. The Harry Styles song is in the movie. Then the next week, Harry Styles is hosting, and Gosling introduced him for his musical performance. It was a nice couple of weeks of Project Hail Mary is tied into Harry Styles. You think he's boring? This is one of the most
But for
popular...
promotional, you're right. For promotional purposes.
Yeah.
As a music fan, as a fan of actual music.
Yeah.
His music is like wallpaper.
Okay.
And that is fine because some people like to stare at wallpaper.
Okay.
I like to stare at a nice exposed brick if possible, or just a white wall. Because I don't need to be entertained all the time, like most people.
So you're saying
that's
Harry
what
Styles
wallpaper
is entertaining?
For. No, I'm saying
I feel like you're mixing. I'm
saying he's something to.
I'm
saying he's something to look at, but he's not.
A lot of wannabe old boys, wannabe old girls, wannabe old people would agree. Harry Styles is something to look at, and they love him.
But let's get into the actual promotional tie-in here.
Yeah.
Yes.
That this song would be in the movie.
The fact that the song's going to be in the movie, and the fact that he was promoting that movie by singing that song, does make sense to me.
Yeah.
I would not give him more than the artisans who made the practical sets.
He's more famous than the artisans.
Right now he is.
He's more famous than the artisans. Then why don't we give the artisans 3.5? I'll even up with the artisans.
Please.
So we'll up the artisans.
And then what are you giving Harry Styles?
We up them to 3.5, which brings us to $75 million. So we've got $6 million left before Harry, and I would say give Harry 3, a little less than the Artisans. I think Harry Styles gets...
I mean, he is sort of like a tennis ball to me.
But people love him.
People love watching tennis.
People do love watching tennis. And I'm sure he's been to the U.S. Open, and people probably love watching Harry Styles watch tennis.
Mm-hmm.
So
he does the thing like the cat. Like, he just moves his head.
Yeah. So
which
not
I
much
guess
else
is,
you
I
can
mean,
do when you're watching tennis.
Yeah,
you
I mean, listen,
you got one move. You move your head
I guess
side
that's I guess that's a little bit like, he seems like a good guy.
Yeah.
I guess I'm being mean to the guy. I don't know why I'm being mean to the guy.
He's going to be in our town.
Yeah.
Come on the show, Harry Styles. Talk about your success having your song sung in Project Hail Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Song was sung by Sandra Hüller.
Yeah.
Who most people know her as the co-star of The Zone of Interest.
Well, I think more people know her as the woman who maybe murdered her husband in Anatomy of the Fall.
Did she get the best? She got the Best Actress nomination for that.
Yes.
Right? So she's great in this movie. Would you say she, because you like the Earth stuff more than the space stuff in this movie?
So much more.
And she's only in the Earth stuff.
Yes.
So
for me, she's the MVP of this movie, other than Gosling. Gosling, he really impressed me with his range of emotions in this project. To be able to bring that sort of emotion to talking to a tennis ball is really impressive, I think.
And she sings the song in the movie.
Now, any Anatomy of the Fall fans knows that the song she should be singing is PIMP. Because that had such a great instrumental version in that movie.
They must have considered it.
If she gets up there and she sings, I don't know what you heard about me. Then Fitty can get some money.
And it wouldn't have been so outlandish in the context of where she sang, which is at a party.
Yeah.
Like, you imagine some of those astronauts are singing PIMP earlier in the night.
Yeah.
So, but she sang the Harry Styles song.
I mean, I wish she would have sang Fergalicious, but now I'm just wish casting.
Well, sequels. This movie opens at 80 million, so...
We follow her as she does her drive around the country doing karaoke contests, a la duets, starring my father, Huey Lewis, and Gwyneth Paltrow.
So if Harry got 3 for his song being in the movie, I'd give her $1.5 million
for singing it.
For singing the song.
Because if anybody else in that cast had sung that song, I don't think it has the same impact.
Yeah. Yeah. So now that brings us up to 75 plus Harry's 378. Give her $1.5 million. We're at 79.5. So this is a movie that made 80. So we got $500,000 left.
Okay.
AT&T Girl.
Who's this?
The AT&T Girl. Are you not aware of the AT&T Girl?
No.
So
I think you mentioned this while I was in space. It was hard to, because I am a Mint Mobile subscriber. So
you're just unaware of any other phone carriers and their commercial spokesman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm moving over to Smartless Mobile whenever that launches, but I don't know when that's launching.
So she is the star of a series of commercials, probably dating back 5 to 6 years, promoting AT&T phone service.
Oh, wow. And that's what she's known for.
And that is what she's known for.
And that's it.
And is a popular series of commercials.
Okay.
And I think she's got an audience,
a
following from that.
For those for phone commercials. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and you have never seen these.
No.
And never searched them on the internet.
I've never Googled her, no.
You've never Googled her to see her work because you just have no...
I just don't have any reference.
No.
Sorry. Which one was she? In the movie?
She's one of the astronauts.
Okay. And you're saying so she's not the captain, because that was a man.
She's not the captain. She's the AT&T girl who, if you've seen the commercials, you would recognize.
But I obviously haven't. I don't know who she is, so you have to describe her better.
So it's hard to say what her most clear characteristic is if you haven't seen the commercials.
Okay.
If you've seen the commercials, you know who she is.
Okay. but I've not. And I don't know who she is.
So would you give her any amount of money?
I can't because I've never heard of her or seen her. And I'm not aware of what she's famous for other than these AT&T commercials.
Yeah. So now you also have not really heard of this phone provider. Maybe the original phone company.
AT&T
doesn't ring a bell.
It's not ringing a bell.
The whole entire phone company AT&T.
No.
You're that removed from knowing who she is. You don't even know what the phone. Okay. So I would give her, as someone who has seen these commercials,
so you're a fan of her.
I'm a fan of her work in these commercials.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would give her,
and just because it's weird because you're not really the Budweiser frogs, obviously.
Yeah. If they were in this, I would say then there's the last half.
So I guess this isn't weird for you to be fans, like a fan of a commercial spokesperson because you actually went to college with a Dell guy, which is something that we haven't talked about.
I try not to talk about that, but I did go to college with the Dell dude.
Yeah.
He's a Dell dude, not the Dell guy.
I'm sorry, Dell dude.
Yeah.
Of course, the frogs, big fan of the Budweiser frogs. The Penguin Doobie-Doo, that was one of your guys?
In grad school when I was in undergrad.
Okay, so you Doobie-Doo. So this sort of makes sense. It's like similar.
Yeah, I love the Geico Cavemen. I'm a fan of that milieu, which she is in.
Yeah.
Just commercial spokesperson who really stands out.
Great. Okay.
I would give her $200,000.
I'm trusting you on this.
I feel like $200,000 would be the way to go. So that leaves us $300,000. Is there anything else that you would give money to? The press tour for this movie was great. The publicity, I think specifically, like we gave Andy Weir $25 million. He's been all over the place promoting this movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen a lot of TV internet appearances the last month.
Okay.
Or especially the last week.
Yeah.
I'd give some money to whoever was like producing his media sessions. Professionally getting him on these different media appearances, like making sure that he sounded good, looked good.
Wasn't just using his laptop. Using professional cameras and audio equipment.
Yes, and directed well.
Yeah.
As he was talking to all different people in like a press junket situation.
Great.
I'd give whoever that is this last $300,000.
I mean, I'd give them more, but I guess you really like this AT&T girl for whatever reason, so you're giving a lot to her. So I'm going to trust you on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to trust you on that they deserve more than this person who professionally produced all of these great media spots.
So I'd give that person $300,000.
Great. And then that person that gets those, like how
they don't share it with their friends in any
way. I was going to say they don't loan money to their friends.
Don't loan money to their friends or creative partners in any way.
Okay,
so
great. Good to know.
Let's add this up. So this should add up to $80 million. Andy Weir gets $25 million for writing this book. Ryan Gosling $24 million. Rocky the Puppet gets $7 million. Space gets $10 million. Lord and Miller, the directors, get $5 million. The artisans who put together these practical sets get $3.5 million. Mikey Day gets $500,000 for Staying Away. Harry Styles gets $3 million for his song. Sandra Huller gets $1.5 million for singing that song. The AT&T girl gets $200,000.
You're a big fan of.
Does great work. And whoever was that produced Andy Weir's media junket gets $300,000
to go straight into their 401k.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So there's $80 million.
Yeah.
I think this is perfect.
I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's perfect. This is so exciting that this movie overperformed, that it's clearly going to have legs because it's well liked. It's next weekend. It's got kind of the space to itself.
Speaking of space, it's got space.
Yeah.
It's going to have the PLFs,
which
is big, which I think people are really excited. I mean, we saw this in 70 millimeter. I think people are waiting to see this in IMAX. you could see this having a really strong hold because there's people who didn't get a chance to get these IMAX seats. And so, yeah, I think this is going to be a movie that holds really well.
Yep.
It got a huge definite recommend.
Yeah.
Right?
You got a huge definite recommend. It's in the high 80s. It got a A cinema score, which is second highest you could get. It didn't get the A+. It got the A.
It's hard to get an A+.
It's hard to get an A+. So this is going to be a flat-out hit.
Yeah.
It is going to be a hit. It kind of, David Thompson last week said, this is what's kicking off the movie year to him. And you got, this is a huge hit. We got Mario in 2 weeks.
It's going to be big.
We got Michael a couple of weeks after that, Devil Wears Prada, and then we're kind of into summer movie season after that.
It's good. This is good.
Yeah.
This
is good.
This did so much to bridge that gap.
Yes.
And create that, talk about saving things. I mean, in this movie, they save the son. That's a spoiler, but you hear about it very, very early on. And that's the kind of movies we need, these big swings to save theaters. And I know theaters are not dying the way that everybody likes to say they are, but they're not
infected.
They're infected. They're not in the best of health. The sun is
infected in this. The stars are infected. The theaters are infected. They need movies like this.
And if the streamers had their way, and if the Pizza Bros were directing big movies like this, then you have, in 30 years, we don't have movie theaters.
Yes.
This sort of movie gives us sort of like a shot of medicine to help fight what's killing the theaters.
Yeah. No, this is great. It's great to see there's another viable studio because this was a hit. We need more movies. We need more studios out there. And what's great is this was a movie based on a book, an adult book, like a pop for everyone book, but a book for adults, huge hit. And you had the Colleen Hoover movies are huge hits. I feel like there was one other
Housemaid.
And Housemaid.
So
just
big.
Based on a bestseller. This is what the movie business needs, is for people to go see movies that are just based on books for adults.
Yes.
That they're not relying on what toy, and I know Barbie worked and that was great, but it's not just what is a kid's property from 50 years ago or a comic book that we could turn into a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Let's actually just take a bestseller and then it opens to $80 million.
That's great.
Or legs out to $300 million, whatever the Housemaid is at.
Mm-hmm.
So this is great. This is great. So yeah, email us, theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on social media at theboboyspod, on TikTok, on Instagram. Wannabe VP of Interns Christopher, killing it with these vertical clips.
Yeah.
Follow us on YouTube. Of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are YouTubers.
Hey, guys.
You could see us fist that bump earlier in this episode if you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Substack. Great articles up there already. Brand new one coming in a couple of days, previewing Super Mario Galaxy. There is an article that is being penned as we speak, going up in a few days on the Substack. So subscribe to the Substack. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. And next episode, I think we're going to have to really lance and engorge and mailbag.
My favorite.
So, because there's not much coming out next episode, so we will get to the mailbag. So again, theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. Get your emails in there. Engorge it even more. And then a big lancing coming up next episode. Clayton, that is all I got. I got nothing else.
Pat, I don't know if you can hear it. My stomach is saying things. Okay. I don't know what it's saying. 8, 3, 4?
Oh, wait. My stomach is saying something right now, and it's saying not a rallying cry. That's what my stomach is saying to your stomach, who is a liar and a thief.
A thief? Well, but that's a new one. But otherwise, I think you've said it all.
I've said it all. So I could leave. Maybe I'll go see Project Hail Mary again because I loved it.
Except for, until next time, we'll smell you at the box office. Nailed it. Hey, guys.